On this week's Life in the Park, we'll find out about volunteering in the park, share the love at this year's annual ice show at the Rec Center, and we'll look at current headlines on news you can use.
Welcome to this week's edition of Life in the Park. I'm Scott Smith. In our cover story, Laura Smith explains why volunteering is such an important part of experiencing life in the park. The benefits are priceless. But first, here's a quick look at news you can use in the park. Water main flushing is planned for April 19th through the 30th. St. Louis Park City crews are scheduled to flush the water mains throughout St. Louis Park to break loose normal mineral buildup inside underground mains. Most of the flushing will be done starting in the evening around 9 p.m. If your water does become discolored, just run your tap until the water runs clear. Well, there's love in the air, love on the ice, and love in the park at this year's annual ice show at the Rec Center, featuring a romantic theme and highlighting the talent of local skaters. This is the biggest event of the year for the St. Louis Park Skating School, and they can't wait to put on a show for you. Saturday evening, April 18th at 7:30 p.m., and a Sunday matinee, April 19th at 1 p.m. at the Rec Center, 3700 Monterey. Tickets are available at the door. STEP is hosting the 15th annual Empty Bowls event at Westwood Lutheran Church on April 23rd. The St. Louis Park Emergency Program is hosting the campaign to inform local residents about existing hunger in the area. Residents can enjoy soup and bread for either lunch or dinner. You may pick up a handmade bowl made by local artisans at the event, and musical entertainment will be provided. Empty Bowls raises more than $25,000 every year. Funds are used to provide aid to the organization's 4,000 clients. Lunch will be from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and dinner will be served from 4 to 7 p.m. at Westwind Lutheran Church, 9001 Cedar Lake Road. Well, hey, do you want to learn about sustainability? Learn more about it at the first inaugural Organic Living Workshop. The day-long seminar will give property owners practical tips to reduce the negative influence their household makes on the environment. Speakers and exhibitors will cover 6 topics, including points from composting and organics recycling to native landscaping and tree planting. The workshop will take place at the Rec Center, 3700 Monterey Drive on Saturday, April 18th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m., and the event is free. Discover St. Louis Park names Becky Bakken as new president and CEO. Along with Bakken's 15 years of experience in marketing as Citizens Independent Bank's marketing director, she will bring strong existing relationships and a deep understanding of the St. Louis Park community to her role as president and CEO. Prior to her tenure at CIB, Bakken worked in the hospitality industry and served as executive vice president and director of communications at the Twin West Chamber of Commerce. Bakken, who replaces John Basil in this position, will officially join DSLP later this month. Now, to our cover story. St. Louis Park relies heavily on volunteers in our community to perform a variety of tasks throughout the year. Our Wellness and Volunteer Coordinator, Laura Smith, tells us more about volunteering in the park and how you can become involved. Thanks for joining us today, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, well, first of all, tell me why volunteering is important.
I think volunteering is important because people of all ages are able to engage in their community, make connections with other people, and I find oftentimes that people who volunteer, it not only benefits the place that you're volunteering at, but it also benefits them. They, make connections, they gain experience, and they usually have a good time.
What are some of the age groups of volunteers? I assume they're like perhaps all retirees because they have the time?
That is a valid guess. We do have a lot of retirees who volunteer with us. However, we also have a lot of youth who volunteer with us. We have a lot of groups from high schools and junior highs who have volunteer requirements to graduate or might just have interest in a specific area. So I often get youth volunteers as well.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even think about that. So,
yeah.
What are some of the age groups that are most needed as volunteers?
I would say all age groups. We accept volunteers from the age 16 on up, And as long as you are willing to give back and learn, we definitely need you.
Okay, so just about anybody qualifies.
All ages,
All
yep.
right, great.
Yep.
What are some of the requirements that are needed for volunteers? I mean, is there certain areas you have to have expertise in or training in, or?
We do have some that require experience. We have some opportunities within City Hall where people might need experience with filing or scanning, using a computer, but then we have some opportunities that are outdoors that are just picking up a park, so there would be no experience required there.
Is there any type of special training that's needed for certain volunteers or situations?
Yes, we absolutely will train volunteers if they are willing to learn. For example, we have fire hydrant painting, and we created a YouTube video where volunteers can watch it, and then we provide an instruction document. So that is their way of being trained to paint a fire hydrant.
What are some of the upcoming volunteer opportunities now that spring has finally almost arrived?
We have quite a few opportunities. We have some events coming up this spring. We have an Arbor Day event on May 9th, and we need help restoring the Bass Lake area. So it would be buckthorn pulling and native species planting and picking up litter. And then we have a Park the Street event on June 7th. We're looking for volunteers for that, as well as Parktacular in the middle of June. We're looking for some volunteers there. So if anyone is willing to volunteer, the more the merrier.
That brings up my next question. How can they volunteer? Where do they go? Who do they call you, or do they?
Yes, they can call me or email me. All of my information is on the city website, www.stlouispark.org/volunteering.
Well, thanks so much for explaining us about volunteering. And if you never have volunteered, it's a great opportunity. As Laura said, you do learn new experiences, and you get to do things that you may not have tried before, and it does connect you with the community. Thanks again, Laura.
Thank you.
To contact Laura Smith, you may email her at lsmith@stlouispark.org. Next week, we'll take a look at bullying. We tend to think bullying just takes place in our schools, but the Human Rights Commission and Jane Kim take a closer look on life in the park. So you can keep up to date on news and events in the park by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/St. Louis Park. So that's it for this edition of Life in the Park. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Park TV.
Hello, I'm Jim Lombardi, Recreation Supervisor with your Rec Minute. With the warmer weather, it's time to start kicking the ball around with your friends and coworkers. The Recreation Department is offering adult kickball leagues at Aquila Park on Sunday evenings. If kicking the ball around isn't your thing, we also offer sand volleyball leagues at the Rec Center and at the middle school. Recreation leagues for kickball and volleyball will begin in late May. For more information, contact the Rec Center at 952-924-2540 or at stlouispark.org. So we hope to see you playing in the parks.